and welcome to Cretaceous Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Mattel Jurassic World Velociraptor Blue. This is the larger 12-inch scale action figure that so far seems to be showing up at Kohl's and is also available through Amazon.com, which is where I got my figure, about $11 or so. I hadn't previously picked up any of these figures in this scale, so I thought, hey, I love Blue. Maybe I'll go ahead and check her out to see what these figures are like. As you can see from the back of the packaging, other figures available in this assortment include Owen, a Pachycephalosaurus, and an orange Velociraptor. Not quite sure whether or not I'm going to get those other figures. I might get Owen, but I guess we'll see after we open up Blue and see what she's like. That'll give me a better idea as to how much I want to invest in this particular assortment. So this is very much like those value figures that Hasbro does. I think they're called Hero figures for their 12-inch line. Marvel Legends does them. Even Mattel does them for their DC figures. So it is kind of interesting that they're also doing them for Jurassic. So I'm pretty curious to see what she is going to be like. So I'm going to go ahead and get her opened up. And when we come back, we'll take a closer look at Raptor Blue. Alright guys, so once you get out of the packaging, you can see that her tail comes disconnected, quite similar to what we've seen on several figures from this Mattel line, including the Roarvors, including the Super Colossal T-Rex, including the Extreme Chompin' T-Rex. So nothing new here. There aren't actually instructions included this time around, so we're just going to wing it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You stick that in there like this. And there it is. Goes in pretty easily. And voila. Alright, so looking here at Blue fully assembled, I think it's a pretty nice looking figure. It actually doesn't look too bad. It's a little bit bigger than I thought it might be, which is a good thing because, we don't want a really super tiny figure or anything. And it is supposed to be 12-inch scale, I guess, so, she needed to be pretty sizable. So let's go and take some measurements here. So from front to back, Blue measures in at 13 3/4 inches, and from top to bottom, 6.5 inches. Alright, so looking at the overall sculpt of the figure, you can see that it's a little bit light on detail. I mean, it is detailed. You can see that the sculpt has quite a bit to see, but it's not the most rich kind of detail. It's actually a little bit soft, but not too bad overall, especially not for a budget figure that I think they're targeting for around the $10 range. Now, the head sculpt is pretty nice. It looks very much like anything we've seen of Blue, either it's the artwork or in the film. It's a very simple figure, and as you can see, the mouth is like closed. You can't even open it or anything, but it looks great. I'm sure that any customizers could do a heck of a job making this look really, really great. But for me, I'm quite happy with the aesthetics of it, even if the sculpt is a little simple and the head is a little bit simple as well. I think it looks good. I think this is going to look really nice on a shelf, either as a standalone piece or even with other dinosaurs and such. I like the coloration that they went with. It's basically like a greenish gray color, and then you have the blue stripe. It might be a little bit light, maybe a little too light, but it doesn't look bad by any means. Even the eyes look quite nice, a very vibrant yellow with a slit pupil that's actually blue. They use blue paint on the pupil, it looks like. Well, I guess it's like a really dark blue, a little bit darker than this here. And overall it looks good, and of course you do have that kind of fleck in the molding there for the skin, so you see those little flecks kind of coming through. They did not paint the claws on either the forelimbs or the hind limbs. Not a huge deal. You can see she's got a very nice long tail. Again, I think this is one that customizers can make look gorgeous. As far as articulation, like I said, nothing here at the mouth, nothing at the head, which is kind of an interesting choice. You would think at the very least she'd have an opening jaw, but I think that actually really works for the figure because she does look great. You can swivel both of her forelimbs up and down here at the shoulders. For the hind limbs, you can swivel them as well. They don't have ball hinging, so you can't move them out. They're just going to go forward and back. You can also rotate both of the ankles, and at the tail you actually do get a ball hinge. And look at that, really nice movement there. Up, down, side to side. You can rotate it like this. Very nice movement there. If only they applied that to the rest of the limbs, even the head, that would be really cool. But, like I said, it is a budget figure at this size especially. Very lightweight, in fact. But, I'm pretty happy with it, actually. I feel like this figure is closer in scale to actually 6-inch figures than it would be for 12-inch figures. If you can imagine, with her being 6.5 inches, a 12-inch figure would be almost twice as tall, so definitely not in scale with 12-inch. So I wouldn't really call this a 12-inch line. I would call it more like just a budget, larger sized line. And here she is with a 6-inch figure. There's the Solo Star Wars Story Black Series Han Solo. And pretty close. I kind of feel like Blue looks a little bit too big though. I'm thinking more of a 7-inch figure. That would be a little bit taller, would be a lot closer to being in scale with that figure there. So let's try that. So now we're trying this out with the 7-inch NECA Superman. And I think this looks a lot better. I feel like it's pretty close. It definitely works better though than it works with 6-inch figures. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Mattel Jurassic World Blue. I don't really know what the name of this assortment is. All I know is that it's a larger size figure. It's not a 12-inch scale figure, as we may have been led to believe. Price range on this figure is going to be around $10. I think that for what you're getting here, it is quite nice. Not the most detailed figure, but she does have a very adequate sculpt. I think she's detailed just enough. There's a lot of nice pieces of texture that you can see in the sculpt. The paint detail is pretty sufficient for what Mattel was trying to deliver at this price point. The articulation works well. As you can see, she balances without any problems at this point. Ball jointed tail is a really nice touch. Overall, I'm quite happy with the figure. Again, as a standalone piece, this works really well, whether you have her on your desk or you have her on your shelf. It's a really nice looking figure. All right, my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If so, do give us a like, do subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe to Cantina Chatter on iTunes. If you're so inclined, be sure to check out our Patreon. There is a link down below. We will be having a giveaway coming very soon. And as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Cretaceous Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.